title of this lesson is Graphing, Working Backwards. And basically what it is a synthesis of what we've been learning for the last 2 weeks. What F prime number lines tell us, what F double prime number lines tell us about the way that the graph of F looks. But instead of giving you equations to work with, we're giving you data to work with, number lines to work with, and you're going to create a graph from that information. Okay? We're going to start with number 1 on this worksheet. What I need you to do, please, is just to take number 1 and copy those 2 number lines onto your notebook paper, exactly as they're written. We have an F prime number line, and right underneath, double prime number line. Everybody done caught a lot of pauses in the video, unfortunately. All right. Who can tell me what a plus sign on the F prime number line means about F? It means that it's increasing, and a minus sign means that F is decreasing. So out to the side here, I want you to write increasing / decreasing, because that's what it's telling you. Either the graph is increasing, the graph of F is increasing, or the graph of F is decreasing. Okay? What do the pluses and minuses on the second derivative tell you? Concave up and down. Okay? So what we're going to do is to put all this information together. We're actually going to draw what we call an F number line. So down here I want to draw a third number line, and I'm going to call it F. The numbers that go on the F number line are all of the numbers from the 2 previous number lines combined. So I need to put the -3, the -2, the -1, the 0, and the 4 all on the same number line. And as soon as you do that, switch to your other color, your pen. Okay, what I want to do is take these symbols up here and translate them into words down here. So this being a plus sign tells me what again? Increasing. Now, don't write it right on the line. You're going to have to write something underneath it. So go up a little bit and just write INCR for increasing, up to -3. I prefer a little bit more than that, but it's your paper. Okay, from -3 all the way to -1, it is decreasing. Now notice that actually encompasses 2 sections here, so we're going to put decreasing on both of them. Decreasing, decreasing. Then from -1 all the way to 4, it is increasing again, so increasing, increasing. And then after 4, it is decreasing. You see what I did? All right, we're going to do the same thing with concavity. Now, instead of writing concave up and down, I'm just going to write up or down. Okay, so for the first section, all the way to -2, which encompasses 2 areas, it's down. So DN for down. Then from -2 to 0, it's up. And then the rest of it's down. So down and down again. All right. You now know what each piece of the graph should look like when it changes either direction or concavity. What I'm going to do is underneath here, I'm going to draw my concave up cup, my concave down frown, and I'm going to put my max and min on each one of those. Okay? Now, each of these is actually comprised of 2 pieces. One piece that is increasing and one piece that is decreasing. So this first section says increasing and down. So we go to the down one. Which side of the down frown is increasing? The left side, right? You agree with me? So I just want to draw the left side of the frown right there.
That's what?
That's where the down one is increasing. Then the next section says decreasing and down. So I should take the down one, the frown, and draw the right side in between those two numbers. Are you seeing what I'm doing? Okay, decreasing and up. Look at the up cup. Which side is decreasing? The left side. So draw the left side in there. Increasing and up, though. That's the right side. Agreed? Increasing and down, I've already drawn that. So I'm going to draw it again right there. And then decreasing and down, this is the same thing. Draw it right there. Are you with me? Okay. You now have the individual pieces of this puzzle that we're going to draw, which is the graph of f. So come down here. Draw yourself an x and y axis. Pretty good size. The only numbers on the x-axis should be the numbers on your f number line. So I have to go out to 4 on the right, and at least 4 on the left, or at least 3 on the left. So I went out 4. Please only label the ones that are on the number line. It makes it easier to graph it. Okay. Now what you're going to do is basically put the pieces together. Information right here tells me that I'm going to connect this piece to this piece at -3. And then I'm going to connect this piece to this piece at -2. Does this information up here tell me anything about y values? No. So the y values for you might be different from the y values from somebody sitting next to you. That's why we don't label the y-axis at all. Okay? So your graph, what? It's still the right answer because we don't have enough information to give it exactly what we need. So your graph might be higher up than somebody else's, lower down, or stretched more. And it's still right. But it has to be this general shape. So go back to your pencil. Go back to your pencil. We're going to go back to blue. So I'm going to draw a piece that looks like this that stops at -3. Now, I could stop right on the x-axis if I wanted to. I could stop up in the air. I could stop way down low. I'm just going to draw each time. Just like that. Then from -3 to -2, I'm going to draw this piece. So that means I'm going to draw something going down like so, and then stop right there. Then from -2 to -1, I need to draw the left side of a cup. So that's going to come down like that. -1 to 0, I'm going to draw the right side of the cup. And come up like so. 0 to 4, I've got to draw the left side of a frown. So we're going to go up. I'm going to go up to there. And then past 4, I'm going to draw the right side of the frown. Go down like that. And there's my graph. That is what F looks like.
That's all we have to do.
That's all you got to do. Okay, now, let's go back for a minute. I want to make a point. I'm going to cover this up for a second. Go back and look at the number line. Okay? When an F prime number line has a plus on this side and a minus on this side, what is special about -3? It's a maximum. So I'm going to write the word max right there. That's supposed to be a maximum. Does everybody see why? Because it's increasing and then it's decreasing. What should -1 be? It should be a min. What should 4 be? A max again. Okay? Now go look at your picture. Is that what you got? Did you get a max at -3? Yeah. Did you get a min at -1? Yeah. Did you get a max at 4? Yeah. So it's kind of a double check to make sure you did it right. Any questions? Are we good? Okay. Now, I wrote kind of big. I'm going to need a new sheet of paper. If you have half a sheet or more left over, you can keep going on the same sheet of paper. I'm moving on to another one. We're going to do number 4. So look at number 4 on your worksheet. Copy the number lines onto your paper, please. Number 4. I drew my F line already. Shouldn't have done that. Oh well. Plus DNE minus 0 plus dne minus plus plus plus. This is going to be 90% like the one we just did. The only difference is you see something new on this number line that's never been there before. What's new? D and E. Okay. Now, when it was zeros there, we knew that it was maxes or mins. Okay? What is this one going to be right there? This 0. If it's minus on this side and plus on this side, that's a min, right? Okay? Now, D and E. It tells you above the problem, and I'm going to write this in red because it's important, that F is continuous. Keeping that in mind, if it says D and E on F prime, what does it look like? Can't be a hole, because holes aren't continuous. Can't be an asymptote, because asymptotes aren't continuous. What could it be?
A sharp corner.
A sharp corner, maybe. Or what else? A cusp. Exactly. So, okay, think about sharp corners. What kind of concavity do the pieces on either side of sharp corners have? Do they cave at all? No. So if there's any sort of concavity, it's probably going to be a cusp. Agreed? So I'm going to write the word cusp up here and up here because that's probably what I'm going to see. 99% of the time it's a cusp. And that's kind of nice, so when I start putting the pieces together, if I don't see cusping going on, something's wrong. All right, so now let's go to the F line. Bring down all the numbers. I'm switching colors. There's my cup, there's my frown. Okay. Tell me one more time, what do you write for the plus sign right here? Increasing. So this is increasing to -3, decreasing to 0, increasing to 4, decreasing after that. And then it is, what do I write for the pluses on the second line? Up, 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 and up. Are you with me? Okay, you draw the pieces in. See if you can draw the pieces in. Just the pieces. Don't try to draw the graph yet. Here's my little diagrams. Do your pieces look like mine? Okay, look back up here. If I connect the pieces at -3, am I going to get a cusp? Yes. If I connect pieces at 0, am I going to get a min? Yes. If I connect the pieces at 4, am I going to get a cusp? Yes. So I did it right. Okay? Now, let's go to the graph. I'm going to go 4 to the right and left. -3, 0, and 4. Now you draw it in. You've got all the tools you need right there to draw it in. I trust you. Okay. That's what I did. Do your dots at -3 and 4 have to be the same height? No. Could they be swapped and the -3 dot is higher? Sure. They could be the same height. Some of you are thinking bridge project from Algebra 2, right? Okay. Questions? Yeah. This isn't so bad, is it? How many of you like this better than the concavity and second derivative test we've been doing? I had a feeling.
Miserable.
This is like, and this is my method. I came up with this. I don't know if anybody else does it this way. I started doing this about 3 years ago. My kids were like, this makes so much sense. I'm so excited. Okay, we're moving on to number 8. Number 8. So turn your worksheet over. Moving on to number 8. Okay, now we're doing a different kind of looking thing. And that is a table. Okay? So we're transferring this table into number lines. So 8, I'm going to draw an F prime. I'm going to draw an F double prime, and an F, because they give me all 3 rows. Okay. This one is not so bad. It's not exactly just copied off the paper, but all the information you need is right here. Now, this one is different in the fact also that notice that on the F1, they give you numbers. Those numbers are specific Y values that your graph must go through. Therefore, everybody's graph this time should look almost identical. Okay? So, we'll take care of that in a minute. But since the numbers -3, -1, and 0 are on all 3 columns, let's go ahead and put all 3 of those numbers on all 3 lines. -3, -1, 0. So go ahead and put them on all 3. Okay. Now, in my previous classes, I already did this. Anytime you see a plus or minus sign in the same column with a number, just ignore it. What it's telling you is that it's continuing that plus action or that minus action at that point. Okay? So, even though the F line is first on the table, I'm going to do the number line first. So it says x is less than -3. That's this section of my number line, isn't it? So that's where the first plus sign goes. Let me say it again. X is less than -3. This is the number line section that's less than -3. So that's where the plus sign goes. Okay? At -3, it's still a plus sign. Then it says between -3 and -1, it's still a plus sign. So -3 to -1 is still a plus sign. Are you with me? -1 says nothing. Just leave it blank. -1 to 0, that's the next section, is minus. At 0, it's a 0. And then afterwards, it's a plus. You see how I transferred all that down? Okay? Now, the second derivative number line, as you notice, is all plus signs. So I just need to put plus, 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 plus 4 times. Okay, there are a couple more pieces of information I need off of here, and I'm switching colors because this is very important stuff. It's stuff that I need to graph. Okay, these numbers on the F line, I'm going to write them above these right here. So -3 is 0. -1 is VA. What do you think VA stands for?
Vertical asymptote.
Very good. 0 is 2. Those are Y values that you will have to put on your graph. Okay? Now, there is one more piece of information I have not written down. Anybody see what it is? Right up here. F has a slant asymptote at y equals x plus 1. So I need to write that out to the side. Slant asymptote at y equals x plus 1. Anything I write in red, I've got to graph it. Okay, I'm done with the table. I don't need it anymore, so I'm going to move it aside. And all I need is this. Okay, I want you to write the words and draw the pieces and go that far. Okay, so write the words, increasing, decreasing, concave up, concave down, draw the pieces in. You do that right now. Oops, I messed up. All right. Did you get that?
Yes.
This one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay. Now, next step, draw the graph. -3, -1, and 0. Okay, put those numbers on the graph. Okay, as soon as you've drawn your graph, go back to your pencil. Oh, I need to go back to my red pen for just a minute. I forgot to say something. Okay. On the tables, every once in a while, you're going to have this thing happening, where you have the same words and the same picture side by side. Doesn't happen very often, but it does. Okay. If this happens, what this really means is that it's one big piece, but it has to go through that point. So what I'm going to draw is one big increasing up right there to remind me that that whole thing is supposed to be one big long one. It's not a one and then another one, because there's no cusp in the middle. It's one big one. Okay? So anytime you get the same words side by side, you've got to draw, it's one big one. Okay. Before you graph a single piece on the graph, you must put those dots in there. Those y values must be graphed first every time. So -3, 0, dot right there. At -1, I've got to draw in that vertical asymptote, like that. And at 0, I've got to put a dot at 2. Whoops, I didn't mark off my y-axis. Shame on me. So at 0, 2, I need a dot right there. Okay. I have to go through those dots. So it's critical that they are there so that you can go through them. Now, before I do any more, I've got to draw that slant asymptote in. Okay, this is Algebra 1, folks. Please tell me you know how to do this. Where do I start graphing this line? 1 on the y-axis. What's my slope? Up 1 and over 1. You have restored my faith in education. You actually remember something from the 9th grade. Or the 8th grade for y'all. Just draw in your slant asymptote. Remember doing graphs like this last year? Radiographs? Yeah. Okay. So, from -infinity all the way up to the vertical asymptote, I'm supposed to draw one big one of these. But I have to go through that dot. Okay? So do you see how it's going to look? It's going to be a little bit steeper than the one I drew. But it's just going to be one big smooth curve like so. Okay? That's okay. No, don't be. Let me tell you an even more embarrassing story. I was teaching a workshop one summer, and I invited in the head of the math department from the University of Houston to come and speak to my class. And so when he came in to speak, he was a great speaker. He was in the front of the room talking to teachers about what they really need to stress with their kids in math. And I went to the back of the room and I sat down for the first time all day. And I was nodding off through his entire presentation. I felt so bad. I could not stay awake. It was so embarrassing. So, anyway. Decreasing and up. How's that piece going to look between -1 and 0 in here? It's going to be up here. It's got to start up high so that it stops down at 0 right here. You see that? And it's got to have an arrow on it because it can't cross that vertical asymptote. Right? And then increasing and up means I'm going to swing around. Yeah. Do you follow me? Oh, wonderful, on time. I'm so excited. Okay. Any questions about this one? Okay. What I want you to do now is at your table do number 9. Now, number 9 does not have any asymptotes in it. It's going to graphically look a lot like number 1 or number 4. Okay? So, draw the number lines and then draw the graph. Give you a chance to stop and talk for a minute. If you want to see mine in progress, you can look up here. I'm not done yet, but I'm getting there. Okay. Mine is done. My dot at -4 can be in a different place than your dot at -4, but the other 3 dots have to be in exactly the same place. Your -4 dot could be higher, lower, on the x-axis, it doesn't matter, as long as it is that shape. Okay, we need to move on to number 10. I'm going to a new sheet of paper. I'm almost out of paper. It's going to take about as much room as 90. Okay? All of these take about the same amount of room. Okay? Number 10. Can you see the graph? No, you can't. Moving down. There we go. Okay. I'm telling you right now, the F number line needs to be longer than the other two, or you're not going to fit everything on it. Just take my word for it. Make sure the F number line is longer. Okay. I'm going to approach this a little differently than I did in first and second period, and hopefully the answer that I'm asking for will come to you a lot faster, because they really struggled with it. And it was an easy concept that I guess wasn't stressed too much in Algebra 2 and Pre-Calc. Okay. This is a graph of F prime. This is an F prime number line. Okay? So, I want to know, what do I put on here? What numbers do I use? That's what gets kind of confusing when you're looking at a graph. All right? Now, let's think back for a minute to when we did the first derivative test worksheet. Okay? The one you turned in and you already got back. When you're finding where maxes and mins are, because didn't we write on the other number lines max and min and cusp and stuff? What do you do with an equation when you're trying to find where the maxes and mins are? You take the derivative, and what do you do with it? Y'all aren't even listening to me. You set it equal to 0. Okay? Now, look at this picture. Where does that picture equal 0? -4, right? Okay, so the 0 is going to be at -4, and at -1, and at 3, and at 7. Okay. Those are where the derivative equals 0. Okay? Then we put pluses and minuses on either side. Agreed? What do you think is going to determine where the pluses and minuses are go if I have a picture instead of an equation? Colin, what do you think? You just read. Not where it increases or decreases. Anybody got a guess? Okay, hang on. Let me say this. How do you? Okay, this is a first grade question. How do you know when a number is positive versus negative?
Which side?
If I write a number on on a piece of paper, how do you know if it's positive or negative? If it has a negative sign next to it, right? How do you tell if a graph is positive or negative? Above the what? X-axis. So this graph is positive when it's above the x-axis and negative when it's below the x-axis. So I want you to write f prime above or below the x-axis determines where you put the pluses or minus signs. F prime above or below the x-axis. Okay? So, to the left of -4, what sign should I write? Negative, because the graph is under the x-axis, isn't it? Then from -4 up to -1, it's positive. Then from -1 to 3, it's negative, right? Do you see how I'm getting all this?
Yep.
Then plus, then minus.
It determines what?
Okay. When you are given a graph of f prime and you're trying to put the signs on the number line, you look where the graph is above or below the x-axis to determine what gets plus and what gets minus. Okay? Now, to do this one, this is the one that really confuses people. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go a different route for a second. A couple days ago, I drew this on your notes. Okay? You remember that? When f double prime is positive, f prime is doing what? Increasing. And when f double prime is negative, that means f prime is decreasing. Okay. I need to know where this graph is increasing or decreasing, because this is f prime, right? If I know that f prime is increasing, that tells me to put a plus on the double prime line, right? And if my graph is decreasing, that tells me to put a minus on the double prime line. Okay? So, what is this graph doing first? Increasing. Up to where? Up to -2. So, -2 is between the -4 and the -1. So I'll put a plus because it's increasing. And then it decreases to where? 1. So 1 is between -1 and 3. Put a minus sign there. You following what I'm doing? Okay, and then it increases to where? 5, which is between 3 and 7. Gets a plus. And then it decreases after that. So, out to the side, write f prime increases / decreases. Because when you go to do 11 and 12, you're going to forget how you got the pluses and minuses unless you write that down. You're going to have no clue where they came from. All right. Once you have these two number lines, you don't need this picture anymore, because the picture is almost more confusing than the number lines. Agreed? Okay, so throw that out of the way. We're done with that. Now, can you fill in F for me? They didn't give us any Y values, and we don't know what they are, and that's okay. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers to put on the bottom number line. So -4, -2, -1, 1, 3, 5, and 7. All right, let's finish this up. First one is decreasing to -4, then 2 increasings to -1, then decreasing to 3, then increasing to 7, and then decreasing after that. I'll stop and let you catch up. Decrease, 2 increases, 2 decreases, 2 increases, and a decrease. If you're already done with that, keep going. Just do the ups and downs next. So we have up here, up twice to -2, down twice to 1, up twice to 5, and down twice after that. So it's 2 ups, 2 downs, 2 ups, and 2 downs. Now let's draw in the pieces. Decrease up, decrease up. That's the left side. Increase up, that's the right side. Increase down, left, right. And then it repeats. Now this x-axis needs to be kind of long, to about 7. Now, for some of you, systematically putting the pieces together is difficult. I understand that. What you may want to do is out to the side, real tiny, just draw each of those pieces side by side. Don't even try to put it on a grid. Just connect them over here and kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like before you put it on the grid. Okay? I don't have any y values, so I don't have to do that. So this one's going to go, it's going to head down, and then it's going to turn around and go back up. So I'm going to go like this. Down to -4. Up to -2, up again to -1, down to +1, down to 3, up to 5, up more to 7, and then down again. And there it is.
There's some gnarly looking graphs.
Yeah, they are. There's some pretty gnarly looking graphs. I would agree with that. Okay. Do you have any questions? Okay. This will get you through this worksheet. I'm done for today. Okay? And I finished exactly the same number of minutes before the bell. I will give you the same privilege that I gave the second period because you guys were so attentive all day. You can go ahead and pack up now if you want to. Or you can go back and start number 2. So basically from here, just start doing 2, then 3, then 5, then 6, and go in order for the rest of them. And then turn the whole thing in next Tuesday.
So is 11 just like this one?
11 and 12 are just like this one. Okay. Oh, I'm glad you said something. Look at 11 real quick. Let me mention this on the video while I'm doing this. Okay. Okay. Remember that when we did the double prime number line, we talked about where the graph was increasing and decreasing. Is this thing increasing or decreasing at all? So what you end up doing is instead of putting pluses or minuses on the double prime line, you put zeros because it doesn't increase or decrease. You follow me? So where you used to put plus or minus, you put 0. So that means it's going to be no concavity. What kind of graph has no concavity? A line. They're going to be lines. So this one, when it's done, is going to look like lines. All right? Thanks for bringing that up.